Okay, it is time to start piecing some of this stuff together. So I need to get access to the control plate to be able to wire in the pickups, which this is one of them. And let me just put my screws on my magnet. Okay, I have a blue towel. I also need to get a resistor. Oh, let me check. I've forgotten what the pickup value is. I was going to put I did put a push-pull, but I've forgotten what the value of this pickup is. The pickup makers, they don't follow standard electronics color coding. Most often you'll find that a green will be the hot, because red and white are the center taps, and black goes with the shield, right? Now typically green in electronics is ground. Black can also be a ground or a common. And then red and whites are usually hots. So here they're center taps. They've taken the black to be ground, and the green is hot, you see? And in some pickups, the black is hot, and the green is with the shield. And a lot of the times it is red and white as the center taps. But, and then on my neck pickup, well, it was black and white, and according to the paper that came with it, the black is ground on this one. So this is terribly long, and I'm going to have to cut that down and re-sleeve it. I put that push-pull pot in there. What we got in this one? This is 9.41K. So I'm going to want to find a resistor, a fill-in resistor to put on this switch, which I currently have a full split. A full split, let's see what the full split would be. It would remain with the green, because oftentimes both sides are not exactly the same, so it's not always exactly right in half. Okay, so it goes to, yeah, 48.92. I probably wouldn't want that to go any lower than, say, 5.5. So I'm going to have to find a fill-in resistor. I put one on the schematic, I just haven't figured out what the value is yet. I reused this switch from another one that I took apart some time ago. Oh, the actual wire is broken. So I will unsolder that, and I'm going to find a resistor that between these two will keep it at 5.5 or 6. So it drops from 9.42 down to 6 or 5.5 at the lowest. And we're back. So I've done a little bit of work in the background. I've gotten the pickguard on, wired in. For some reason I had this switch wired for something else, so I had to rewire it according to my schematic. And we're going to do a tap test on that in a little bit. So we're at the point where we are going to install, where's Roby? We're going to install the jack. I've just finished, turn around. I just finished drilling the holes for this jack cup to fit in the body. Okay, so you are ground and you are white. Let's get some extra solder up here. Okay. And you are black. Away from the body, I had something to put there, just in case. That should be a good connection because it's burning my thumb. Yeah. Okay. At this point, we're actually able to do the tap test without putting all the rest of it on. So let me go get my air bridge. All right, the amp is ready to go. Turn that on. Oh, I heard the amp. And the switch is in the bridge position. Ooh. Neck. So far, so good. Good. That seems to be working. All right, that means I can put all the rest of it together. I'm going to go turn off the air bridge on the other side. Most of the time I say, oh yeah, when I go over that way, I'm going to turn off the air bridge. But that same time, I forget every time. Yes. Okay. Let's get this out through the hole. I think that'll fit through the hole. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now we just have to adjust this. Yeah, that goes on the back. This goes on the front. Oops. My hand's not working good today. Again. I've been dropping things all day. Okay, I want it there, so it's got to be a little bit tighter. Hook up to there. And then we hold it and tighten that down like that. So when we put it back in the hole, this is going to be tricky. This is going to be tricky. Back in the hole and line up with the holes I drilled. Come on. Oops. That doesn't line up. Turn that. Oh, I'm going to push those lugs in a little bit. What's that one? Is that one going to touch the ground? Yeah. That one's going to touch the ground. I'm just going to snip off the interior part of that. There we go. Now, line that up with the holes for the screws. You just got to get one going, and then you can get the other one. The hole was drilled kind of large. I think probably expecting to put the external jumper plate. So I had to go with much longer screws, the same gauge as a pickguard screw, but longer to go into the body, because there's a little bit of a gap behind the plate and the wood. I like this jack better than the other type, and therefore it's my preference. And snug the other side. There. Good. Now we just need to make all this fit inside. Okay, batten down the hatches. That's looking good. So now I need to put a screw in as an anchor. I forgot to drill one hole here. This pickguard didn't come with screws. So I'll have to go into my stash. So that's approximately right. Alright, I've got to clean up a little bit. I've got the neck on. It's starting to look like a guitar. A little piece of tape here. That was a reminder that that specific hole should go on that corner, because I had to elongate the hole slightly, because the holes that were drilled in the body weren't drilled according to this plate exactly. Off it, yeah, and just enough for the screw threads to catch on the metal. So that's that. Yeah, starting to feel like it. Hey. So this means we're off to bench 1. See you there. Yeah, so this is where I find out how good my holes are. That's looking good up there. I can see the white mat through all of them. This is where we find out how good it is to be able to put strings through. How much trouble we have getting them in there. Come up on the right side of the screw. I can't tell without glasses. It went through the spring on its way up there. Okay, there we go. Probably won't have that problem with many of them. Maybe the bottom 3. Okay, alright, so good. These strings are lined nicely over my pickguard. I'll be able to put the rest of the pickguard screws in afterwards. Now, we have to do something about adjustments. Yeah. So we're going to go through all of these adjustments, intonation, etc., etc., etc. Okay, much closer. And with that I'm alright. Okay, so the nut is quite high. So that'll all have to come down first. So now, let's see. That'll all have to come down first, and up here we've got, yeah, much too high, much too high, much too high, but the nut goes down. It brings that down over there. Alright. So, in order to get the nut right, you're going to have to take these saddles down. For now. Alright, back up. While I'm here, I might have to do some stretching. It'll help later. Here we are, and I'm just checking. This is 25 thou, and the treble side is exactly 25 thou at the high E. It's a little bit more at the B, and it's over 25 thou on the E, low E string. So what I'm going to do, starting to sound like a guitar, what I'm going to do is loosen up these strings, get that nut out, and I'm going to take it to my sander, take a little bit of meat off the bottom before I start working on the top section. And then that's going to give me a little bit less to work with in the slots. Now, did you notice when I said it's 25 thou on the high E and over 25 thou on the low E, high E, low E? That means that it's not even across the bottom or the top. And what that is really meaning for me is I have to take off enough meat to get close to the high E side, and then I'm going to have to take meat out of the slots on this side so I can maintain a flat bottom. It's virtually impossible to try to shave off the bottom of a nut at a slight angle. I've tried it before, and you just can't judge it. So it's going to be go close to the high E first, and then do the slots, and then once that's done, then I can cut the top off the slots that are too deep. I can file down the top and get them, you know, nicely done. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to shave a bit off and then go from there. Alright, so we're working on the nut with the little files, the big files, getting them closer than where they are. Trying to be careful not to do any damage behind the nut or in front of the nut. So I started off with, I lost the file, there it is. On this D string, 28. The actual string is a 24. So we're going to make it just a tad larger than that so it can sit freely in the slot. And a little bit of a back angle on it. And then try to get the front edge. Just a little bit closer. Might have to do a final a little bit later, but I want to get them a lot closer right now. Before I ended up doing any more work down here on the saddles. Yep, back at bench 2. After I put the strings on and did the intonation, I'm thinking, why isn't this thing working properly? And it's because I wired it wrong. I drew it, and I wired it according to this, but I drew it wrong. Let's put it that way. The splice switch is in the wrong place, and so is the resistor. So it was operating kind of wonky. So we're just going to fix it. Let's hope that works.